for a Shway Media podcast.
Hey guys, what's up?
Welcome to Adaptation. I'm Luna.
I'm Matt, and today is, since it's going to be my dub Turth Day in 5 days, we're doing a show that I love.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're doing some other stuff as well, but that's going to take a little bit of more, or a little bit more preparation. So
a lot more preparation.
This, in the interim.
And is a sort of transition into it, since it almost counts as what we're doing later. Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about Copcraft, which is a show from, I think, summer 2019, somewhere around
2019, yeah. It was my number 2 anime of the year for 2019.
Anyway, this is based on the novels by Shoji Gato, who is also known for Full Metal Panic and Amagi Brilliant Park. And it is illustrated by, Range Murata, who is, I think, best known for Last Exile.
And this is nothing like Amabri or FMP at all. It's sort of like FMP with crime elements, but it's nothing like it otherwise.
I would say it's somewhere between. It's kind of more like a Fumofu kind of vibe, because it's got action, but it's also got these really weird funny moments.
Yeah, Fumofu I'd be cracking up though. There was parts where I laughed, but not parts where I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. So Gato-san kind of got in some trouble, in some controversy, way back last winter. He made some really disparaging comments against a Swedish climate activist, Greta Thunberg. He has since apologized for those tweets. If you're curious about that, the article is on Anime News Network from, I think, December of last year, if you are interested in that. So just a little bit of a caveat here and there. But anyway, really quick though, so the spring season has officially begun, so to speak. Funimation has dropped a couple shows as well as Crunchyroll. As for dubs, so a few weeks ago, I think around the 18th, Funimation did announce that they are delaying their simuldubs for the foreseeable due to this quarantine and COVID situation going on.
I've heard people talking around about that. What they are trying to do is look into just how much of their talent pool is studio quality remote capable, to see if they can just do it source connect from home. And from what I'm hearing, not as many people as they'd like are able to, and even if a few people are able to, it would sort of ruin the concept of social distancing if everyone just instead went over to 100 to 300 people went over to 7 different people's houses. That would sort of ruin the social distancing that everyone's trying to push. So it sounds like it's sort of, I wouldn't say dead in the water, but just sort of in stasis right now in terms of logistics.
Yeah, for sure. It just means like we might be back to like 4 to maybe 6 weeks in terms of dubbing. And in some cases we may even have to wait for like the Blu-ray release, which sucks.
Yeah. For those of you who don't remember or new to simuldubs, 4 weeks was the OG time period between when the anime aired and when the first simuldub episode dropped. So it's sort of back to basics at this point. If hopefully, otherwise it's going to be pre-simuldub, where it's just going to be hope they dub it and wait for the Blu-ray release to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Which totally sucks, but you know, hopefully everything will work out.
We want people to be safe.
Yeah, I feel like some episodes have probably been pre-recorded before all of this went down. So, like, for example, like
the listeners, like,
yeah,
they said they recorded that that before they announced the delays and all this stuff hit the fan. But that is the only but episode 1 that aired yesterday is going to be the only dubbed episode, at least of that show, for a while, or at least according to what Tyler Walker said on Twitter, the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Which sucks, because we both watched the first episode, and it is banging. Like, it's
freaking
so good.
Loved it!
Oh, man. I am so on board. So, yeah, it might be a season of just subs for a while, which is sad, because I love dubs, and so forth. But, you know, that means we'll probably just have to go through our backlog and start covering more. Which is, like,
growing by the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so this will give us definitely a good opportunity to go back and, like, rewatch a bunch of shows. Or, like, go through our, like, backlog and, you know, kind of pass the time with shows that are already dubbed.
Maybe see if we can get a guest on or something, since we don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we aren't really trying to keep up with anything anymore.
I mean, I'm still gonna kind of watch what I want throughout the rest of the season, just because there's a lot of really interesting shit coming out right now. Like, I'm pretty on board.
Yeah.
So I watched. So besides listeners, I've also watched. I think it's like called Wave. Listen to Me.
I watched the first couple minutes of that last night. I need to finish it, but it looks interesting.
It's sad though, because I feel like it's gonna be really funny when it's dubbed. If that ever happens. I don't know.
People are already talking about it on Twitter. Like, they're already like saying who they're hoping the dub cast is going to be, which is good. It's what we want.
And then I also watched Gal and Dino, which is by it is based on the seinen manga of the same name. But it is.
Is that on Crunchyroll?
No, it's on Funimation. And
I missed that one then.
So it's done by the people who did Pop Team Epic.
Okay.
But it's not quite the level of shit posting that Pop Team Epic is, but it is broken up into like little segments that comprise like a whole episode. It's really cute. There's not really a whole lot to it. But maybe it's just like my quarantine brain, but I'm already like obsessed. Basically it's about this like fashionable girl and her pet blue dinosaur, and they do cute things, and nothing really happens, but I love it.
Everyone needs a cute show at least once every like couple seasons, just to like help them chill out a bit. Like Nekopara was my cute show last season. Like, it was just a bunch of cat girls doing silly, stupid, fun, cute cat girl things, and it was just
kind of like a
low intensity.
Yeah,
it was low intensity, it was cute, and it was just what I needed.
It's kind of like Michi Neko or like The Helpful Fox Senko. It's just like, just chill out, relax, enjoy some cuteness. Also, Arte. Again, all these shows that I feel like are going to be really good once they're dubbed. It's about a girl who wants to be an illustrator. And what else? I am now a villainess. Basically, hang on one sec. My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. That's on Crunchyroll right now. It's fucking hilarious.
I forgot to start that one now that you mention it. I need to.
It's, again, all these shows that I feel like are going to be so good once they're dubbed. And then I also watched Sing Yesterday for Me, Kakushigoto, and Tower of God.
Tower of God was beautiful. Like that, like the art style is amazing, and holy crap, Kevin Pankin is rocking that soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see it animated. I'm a big fan of the manhwa, so it's really cool to see it animated, and it's pretty faithful so far. Like, there's, I think the pacing's pretty good so far in terms of, like, like how they're doing, like panel to animation kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really on board with it, and yeah, like pretty much anything Kevin Pankin does is gonna be top notch. So yeah, it's pretty great. Kakushigoto is adorable, and
yes,
the animation is really pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was not mad at it. It's pretty good.
It's a different kind of art style, like, than I thought. Like, at first it was sort of like, I thought it was a little bit low budget, but then, like, once I watched it a little more, I'm like, oh, it's actually different but really good.
Mm-hmm. And then also the Violet Evergarden movie, Eternity.
Is that out dubbed now?
Yes, it is now on Netflix in its entirety. I highly recommend that y'all go watch it. It's really good. I can't wait to hear the dub because it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's pretty long. Like, maybe like watch the first half and then like pause it for a second and then go get a snack or something and then come back for the second half. I did not have that luxury in the theater. I had to sit there for the whole hour and however the hell long. But I still.
And you ordered the extra large soda.
Actually, I just had a bottle of water, but actually, I think I talked about this in one of the last episodes. But like, yeah, like for some reason, I was sitting like closer to like the doorway to the hallway, and like they were like blasting like a really loud pop music like in the lobby.
Oh yeah,
and I could hear it from in the theater, and it was like, guys, what the hell?
A failure in sound design.
Yeah, that was really annoying because like there's some really beautiful like quiet moments because hi, KyoAni. That's just like what they do.
And they sort of get rude when you hear
Yeah, no, it was exactly like that. Like, it was so annoying. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, let's just get into Cowcraft. So, let's see. 15 years ago, an unknown hyperspace gate opened over the Pacific Ocean. Beyond this gate lies Reto Samani, a strange alternate world where fairies and demons live. San Teresa City, where over 2 million immigrants live from both worlds, and as a result, there are the haves and the have-nots. And basically, like, so the detectives who stand up to these heinous crimes are known as a, like, special unit, as the San Teresa City Police. Dun dun.
Yes.
In the criminal justice system.
In the criminal justice system, alternate world residence-based crimes are considered especially heinous. Dun dun.
These are their stories. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-da. Okay, I'm sorry. You can tell I watch a lot of Law and Order. actually have two sweatshirts from Wolf Productions. So I have one that just has like the Wolf Productions logo, and then I have another one that says executive producer Dick Wolf. Actually a friend of mine who works production on I think SVU actually got me those hoodies, but I think you can actually buy them from the Wolf Productions shop online. Don't quote me on that, but I think you actually can. Anyway,
I'm already tweeting that you can. It's and the information came from you, so too late said.
I believe you can though. Okay, so yeah, this is an anime by Studio Millioness. I can't even pronounce this. But they did the Berserk readaptations that we pretend never happened.
Yeah, and apart from Berserk, I looked up their previous works. That is really their only notable credit. Like, all the other stuff either never made it to the West, or if it did, it died instantly. So yeah, Copcraft and Berserk are like their own. Like, Berserk is their big claim, and then Copcraft is like their second.
So the director is Shin Itagaki. He's actually done some stuff. So let's see. He did some key animation for Bakemonogatari, mostly the opening sequences. He did some script work and storyboard for Ben Toll.
Okay.
He also did some key animation for he's done a lot of key animating, or like key animation, script supervising, and like unit direction and like storyboards. So he's got actually some pretty decent credits under his belt. Like, he's worked on shows like let's see, like he's worked on shows like he worked on Michiko and Hachin. He worked on Panty and Stocking. He did some work for Gunbuster 2, Kaleido Star, which is a classic.
Oh, I love Kaleido Star.
We actually, I really want to get to that show at some point, because
oh my god,
I feel like,
absolutely, yes.
I feel like no one talks about it anymore, and that's probably just because I'm really old and like nobody remembers it, but it's so good. This is like middle school for me. Like, I love that show.
I learned about it. I first discovered it from my anime club in college, and then I watched like the episodes they were watching that day, and then went home and went back to my room and binged the rest of it. And oh my god, it is brilliant! I own both seasons.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, a lot of people it's kind of like Angelic Layer, where like they kind of like write it off as like, oh, this is a girl show, and it's like no, it's so much more. It's so much more. It's so good. More. Or like a fucking Princess Tutu, where it's like no, so much more. So much more.
It is not just little girls doing ballet. There is a lot more to it. This one is Kaleido Star is not just girls on the trapeze. It is just a billion times more than that.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, there are some things about it that are kind of dated, but it's still a good show, and we will get to it at some point, I promise. Anyhoozles, on to the show we really should have been talking about like 20 minutes ago, but whatever. Copcraft! So,
yes.
If you want to take us through the Funimation staff for the show, because you remember those and I don't.
All right, we have a stellar cast on this one, and crew. Our beloved Emily Neves did the scripts. Jeremy Inman was the ADR director, and which I sort of liked when I found out, because he was also the ADR director assistant ADR director, for Drifters, which also had its own language. So that was like a nice bit of experience I could see him bringing in there. For the cast, our two main characters are Detective K. Mataba, played by David Matranga, and Tilarna Exadilica, played by Felicia Angel. Then we have Afia Yu as Cecil Epps, who is Kay's ex. Anthony Bowling as Tony. One of the few openly gay characters we've seen in the last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm. But like, not just that, but like one that isn't like super problematic.
Yeah, there's like one that isn't just like a stereotype or like creepy creepy otherwise.
Yeah, I was actually like really surprised with that, and I was happy about it.
It was good representation.
Also,
we had
Jamie Markey playing a character named Jamie, which made me smile.
And then Monica Rial playing her friend, playing her partner Cameron, was just the icing on the cake for that. Actually, Jeremy namecast twice in this show. There was Jamie, and then he had Chris Gardner play District Attorney Gardner. So yeah, bit of name casting there, which is always fun to follow. We had Christopher Dontrell Piper as the shady priest Biz O'Neill, who was always like smuggling something. One of the characters I really loved, Chief Zimmer, played by Gabe Kunda. Zimmer, I really thought was a really well done character.
Was he the one that's like basically like your typical, like he's basically the parody of like the 80s like police chief that's like,
yeah, but it was a stereotypical police chief, but at the same time it was done really well, and the character is... Yeah,
I was laughing my ass off. That was
the
hilarious.
character is black, which comes into play once or twice here for a little bit of, I guess socio-racial contrast would be the best way to describe it. When Tilarna calls him out for saying something racist.
Which is kind of a very tight rope to walk.
Yeah. And we were talking about this on our messages, but how is the term alien racist? And in this case it is, because they're not from another planet, they're just from a different dimension still on Earth. So they, like, I gave the example of, you wouldn't call like a species like subterranean mole people who live beneath the Earth aliens, because they're still from Earth.
Well, it's like more than that. It's like there's definitely some racial commentary throughout the show.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
So yeah, our protagonist, Kay Mataba, is a surly, impatient, grumpy, loose-cannon cop on the edge. No, I'm just kidding.
Detective.
Yeah, he's like... He's like this whole thing is like one big like 80s cop movie, like, I don't want to say like parody, but anyway.
Okay, I remember who the chief reminds me of now. Did you see the Starsky and Hutch movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson?
I barely remember it, but maybe.
Anyway, they had their chief of police in that movie was exactly like Chief Zimmer, like just this wouldn't pass for anything. What are you doing? Like that kind of thing. I just did a terrible impression of him, and I'm sorry, but you get the idea.
I was just thinking of like Lethal Weapon, but yeah. I legit kind of wanted to punch Mataba in the face in the beginning.
Who? Wait, sorry, I didn't hear you. Punch who?
Mataba.
Yeah. He was kind of a dick in the beginning.
Yeah, he was awful in the beginning. So yeah, how do I even explain the first episode? Basically, his partner named Rick Fury, which I should have saw as a sign.
Marvel.
Gets like killed by like, I'll just say for the purposes of this, a quote unquote alien, but not really.
Racist. Go on.
Can I just like, thanks. Like, just shut up for a sec. So anyway, so like that obviously upsets him and sends him down like kind of a spiral. And then like I forget exactly how he and Talarna like end up working together, but in comes Talarna Exadelica, who has now her actual name is like 16 years long. Like I think she had, it's like Talarna Bashmirvor, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons. Like, my goodness.
It was Talarna Varsh, Mirvor Liata, Talarna Varsh, Nalamosea, Mirvor Liata, Nel Exadelica.
It is Talarna Varsh, Mirvor Liata, Imsedalia, Elia, Tibrana, Devil, Nalana Sea, Nel Exadelica.
I knew I was forgetting part of it.
I probably just mispronounced all of that, but that is according to the wiki.
You got most
of it. The
Noble
Knight of Mirvor, magic wielder, sword user, breaker of chains, and is very unfamiliar with human and earth culture. And in true anime fashion, she looks to be about 12, but is actually in her 20s, because anime.
Yeah, she's 26 in Samanian years, which makes her about 18 in Earth years. So let's just say she's 26. I don't really feel like
insert gif of Marshall Erickson with the whip saying not good enough. Anyway. So this show's kind of all over the place.
There's no really huge transition between when it gets serious and when it gets comedic, which can be a little off-putting at times, but I think honestly but the parts where they are serious and are comedic like are well done and well written, but it's just like the transitions that leave a little bit of dissonance there that you're like, okay, like first we were about to shoot a guy in the head and now Talarna's talking smack to Kay.
I'm gonna do my best to summarize like the first 3-ish or so episodes. Villainous drug trafficker is discovered, explains his plan, fights Talarna and takes her hostage. Kay discovers the evil hideout, but Talarna breaks free and fights the bad guy again, killing him after he monologues his entire backstory. Mm-hmm. Bad guy dies, but not before the evil wizard gets away with a bomb. The traitor in the police leaking information is revealed to be none other than the police chief showing up to yell, "It was me, Dio, all along." No, just kidding. But then he dies. But he totally would have gotten away with it too, hadn't it been for those meddling kids.
Those meddling
the evil
cops.
wizard is then revealed is revealed to have killed Kay's entire squad in some barely mentioned war from the past.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna add to that the bust where Fury was killed was supposed to be a drug trade or a supply trade, rather. Apparently, you can, as they said, make some primo drugs with fairies. I don't really want to know how that works, but fairies you can get high from fairies. That's all I know. And so that they were like buying a fairy as part of the bust, and then in the first bit of Farbani used in the series, it goes completely sideways. One of the guys selling the fairy gets completely roided out and starts uttering Duriana Metabatalena, and like hulks out and just completely kills Fury. Like, there is no bringing him back. His neck was shattered. And then Kay has to fight them, has to get away, and the awfulness of calling Fury's wife to tell him, your husband's dead. Then he has to pick up a noble from the harbor, which is Talarna, who will be helping with this investigation. And that's how their friendship is formed, because she has to crash with him, too.
Yeah, so, like, we know she's here specifically because basically the evil wizard guy gets a hold of this, like, fairy bomb, but it uses a whole living fairy because the power is akin to, like, the same way Whole Foods would describe a market rotisserie chicken. Basically, like, in order to... So basically, Kay gets, like, sunburned by fairy dust. Or no, by the wizard's, like, fire power thing.
Yes.
And then he's healed by the fairy dust. And basically, like, the fairy, like, sacrifices herself in order to save the day. And then Kay's sunburn is healed.
And he's not allergic to cats anymore. Yeah, we have to talk about Kuroi, who is Kay's cat.
Kuroi!
Kay, becomes a thing between him and Talarna. Kei in Farbani means cat, and Kei Mataba basically means frightened kitten. So Talarna was roasting him just by saying his name every time. And Kei has to wear like a mask around Kuroi just so he doesn't get like an allergic reaction, but then like Kuroi comes up on his bed and there's no reaction, and so he's cured. But really the interesting part with the whole bomb thing was like using magic to convert the fairy from being an explosive to being a healing element instead. That was an interesting bit of alchemy, I guess.
So, one thing I also want to point out is when will people learn that human weapons do not work on non-human or supernatural beings?
When we make weapons that are better.
Because, like, Kay, like, shoots at, like, so many villains, and it's like, okay, clearly this is not working, and you're wasting your bullets. Fucking stop it.
He shot at Zalata. He shot it at the roided out Samanian. He shot at the freaking vampire. And all of them
that
didn't
poor vampire
die.
Lady, just like, you know, poor vampire lady. Like, she didn't even last half an episode.
That poor Lowen Naven.
Yeah, basically that ends up in the most anticlimactic showdown with the slowest moving, terribly CGI'd train I have ever seen in my life, and I was laughing my fucking ass off the entire time.
It reminded me of those old like black and white movies where the villain like ties the lady up and puts her on the tracks in the train. Like, you see it coming, but it still takes like 20 minutes to get there. Like,
I expected it to go black and white and have like title cards like flash up at the screen going, "Oh no!
It's the train! Save me!"
Like, oh my god.
And I loved like just how the only thing keeping this thing from being rated R was just like this black miasma stuff conveniently covering her chest and crotch.
I feel
nothing
like
else.
That might have just been for the broadcast. I'm not sure though.
It will be interesting to see when the home video comes out.
Yeah. Alright, so episode 6, which I like to call the Mad Libs episode.
Yes.
And the reason is the cops have to stop a blank porn theft ring, leaving a gay cop to go undercover. Meanwhile, Kay is super underline sad about his underline car, or excuse me, is super awkwardly sad about his car and underline dead sister, and Tilarna has to learn how to underline drive. And to top it off,
she still has a lot to learn.
The production on this episode is just like super oof. Like for some reason this episode goes way out of the way to make sure that like the characters aren't shown speaking clearly. Like there's a window covering their mouths, there's a curtain covering their mouths, like, and so much shit happening off screen, like Kay's car exploding twice.
Or Tilarna moving the car and forgetting to take it out of drive.
We'll get to that, because that actually ends up to be like a really funny screenshot, but which I saved a ton of. However, perfect. The porn smuggling ring plot though is like galaxy brain fucking fantastic. Yes. So the idea is that the Somalians need porno mags because they don't have cameras.
They don't have any real or cameras or any images at all. From what it sounds like, sounds like even like paintings or drawings may even be rare there.
Which I find ridiculously hard to believe, but okay.
Yeah, I'm interested about how cultural diffusion didn't really like bring cameras over to the other world. I'm wondering if it may be like. It may be just like a cultural or like religious thing, like Islam has a certain law against depicting imagery in certain ways.
It
might be something like that.
It mainly falls on depicting images of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, I thought it extended further, but same rough idea.
Yeah, mostly it's depicting images of Muhammad, and that's about all I can really say. Anywho,
my high school history textbook was vague on that.
Most high school history textbooks are.
Yeah. Anyway, pictures are a big deal, especially naked pictures, and porn smuggling is a thing where they buy them by like the literal truckload here and then take them back home and sell them for stupid money.
And like Talarnia's reactions to these magazines are pretty fucking funny.
Yes. Kay, what's this porn thing you're talking about?
He shows it, she's just like, oh my god.
This is disgusting. I guarantee you your parents did something similar to make you. And then she just goes off. How can you even say that?
Yeah, she insists that they are far more high-minded and civilized. To do something. But really, the best part is, what's his fucking name? Tony, when he goes undercover as some like slime ball, and his outfit is fucking glorious.
Yes, he looks like he looks like a 70s club owner.
He looks like he looks like a freaking Ukrainian nightclub owner from like the 2000s. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Dang.
And then and by the way, the name of this episode is literally called The Need for Speed.
There's all sorts of movie references in the titles.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then so Kay at first drives like your standard little like hatchback type car, but then
a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, but then, well, whatever the anime version of that is, unless they specifically said a Mini. Well, did they specifically say that?
No, but I've been around enough cars to know what a Mini Cooper is.
Fine, whatever. The point is, then he gets like a pretty sweet ride Except then Talarnia crashes that one as well. And at first it seems like the car is going to be okay, and then it's like one of those things where it's like, well, that wasn't so bad, and then like 5 seconds later it catches on fire, and Talarnia is just like, well, the damage seems to have gotten worse. Just like explodes and catches on fire. Like,
Kay's crying and she's just like, oops. But yeah, there's a lot. Need for Speed isn't the only one that's a cultural reference. We got Midnight Train, episode 3, In the Air Tonight, episode 4, Need for Speed, episode 6. My personal favorite title, episode 8, Smells Like Teen Spirits.
Yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, you got to be like, okay, they are doing this on purpose.
I remember when this aired, Kyle Collins and I like inadvertently co-wrote a parody of that about Copcraft. I have it in my computer somewhere. It was hilarious. And then episode 10, Cock Robin John Doe.
Yeah. I don't really want to talk about episode 7 because that one starts out kind of yikes.
You mean the cookout?
No, that's the one where she I think
it's
the
prostitution 7. One.
Yeah, where she has to go undercover in a like love hotel or whatever, and then is like nearly assaulted by some gross politician. And then they basically just like laugh about the politician's sock fetish, and it's like, excuse me?
Yeah, like you almost let your partner get sexually. You did let your partner get sexually assaulted, basically.
Almost like, sexually assaulted, but yeah.
Almost sexually assaulted, yeah. It was creepy and in poor taste from the outside, but yeah, they thought it was high freaking hilarious.
Typical men.
Yep.
But then we get a montage of Talarna and Zoe hanging out after Kay specifically yells at her to not get friendly with assets.
Yeah.
Which basically sets up for Zoe's murder, like, immediately.
Yeah, I could see that coming, like, something's gonna happen to her, just something. And what I really liked about Zoe, and just a good example of of a cultural exchange, is that she's a Somalian, yet she's a photographer by trade, and she's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were saying before, pictures are like hard to come by in Somalia. What was the name of the country again?
Reto Somani.
I know the language. Reto Somani?
Yeah, Reto Somani.
Pictures are hard to come by in Reto Somani, yet here we have a Somanian taking pictures. It was good. I liked it. Chloe was a really I think, well done character.
Zoe,
Chloe. Why did I say Chloe? I'm an idiot.
They're the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, overall, like, this is a fun show, even when it, like, hilariously fails at attempting any semblance of an overarching plot. But
Zalata was the glue that kept everything together, pretty much.
Barely. Its real strength, I think, is in its episodic buddy cop shenanigans. Oh, okay, so we have to talk about the body swap episode, because what the actual fuck? So
that was episode 8. This smells like Teen Spirits.
Yeah. Actually, we're coming up kind of towards the halfway, so we're gonna take a really short break, and then we will talk about the cat episode, because good God.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Brews and the Boys. So, what's your favorite American football team? Did you say the Dallas Cowboys? If you didn't, you're wrong. And if you're still saying, well, Tim, no, they're not my favorite team, Well, let me recommend that you listen to the Brews and the Boys podcast with Michael Sizemore and Tom Ryle of Blogging the Boys so that they can prove to you that your favorite team is indeed the Dallas Cowboys. Brews and the Boys is your friendly neighborhood podcast that's a lot like going down to your friendly neighborhood bar and watching and talking about the game with your friends. Every week, Michael and Tom give an in-depth analysis about what the Cowboys have done, what they're doing, their player stats, player analysis, everything under the sun that you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys you can find from Michael Sizemore and Tom Ryle every week on the Brews and the Boys podcast, on Blogging the Boys, and the Vox Media Podcast Network. For more information and episodes, head on over to brewsandtheboys.com. And now, back to the show.
And we're back, talking more about Copcraft. There are a lot of fun themes in this disjointed show. A lot of them interesting takes on stereotypes, such as...
I think the biggest one is that, because the Somalians can use magic, that somehow makes them bad.
Bad, and apparently they are generally physically superior.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the mutants versus humans in a ways.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear, unjustified fear of the immigrants are taking over, they're running everything, blah blah blah.
Oh God, I wanted to punch that politician, but at the same time, it was at the same time, I felt Talarnia's rage, but then on the other hand, I was like, you're supposed to be questioning him as a suspect. Shut up and follow Kay's lead. You need to get him to cooperate so you can question him for the investigation. Yes, he's going to say awful things, but at the same time, you're trying to see if he committed a murder. Shut up for a second.
Yeah, fortunately for Talarna, she tends to react on her emotions a little more than she should, there was also one, there was some, Somalian crime syndicates that were, just sort of felt like Russian, Italian mafia, kind of, that's what made me think of them.
That one politician with a really creepy wife.
Mosalime, Cole Mosalime.
Yeah, oh my God. She was a traveling. Oh my God.
Traveling, and there's a guy with receipts.
Trifling.
Oh, trifling. Okay, that makes sense now.
It's Destiny's Child, trifling, good for nothing,
yes,
type of brother. Anyway.
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my... Anyway. That's not the point. The point is... this chick, this bitch crazy. She was very, calculated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe she Carol Baskined her husband. Maybe.
Or, yeah, Talarna even thinks
Sorry,
that
was a Tiger King reference. I apologize.
Yep, Talarna even is convinced that, spoilers, she is the one who paid the assassin to bump off Zoe. Why do I keep saying Chloe? Zoe. Her name's Zoe.
Yeah, I have no doubt that she probably did it.
I completely believe it. And I'm guessing all the other women in that brothel might have met unfortunate ends.
Oh, speaking of, this is a really quick scene, but when Jamie and Cameron go and interrogate that one guy so that they can talk to that other girl who I think is actually voiced by Emily. Or if not, it sounded exactly like her. and they're like, hey, like, open the door, and like he thinks that they're also like, you know, like prostitutes or whatever. And like Cameron just like wails on this guy, and it's pretty glorious.
Yes. Can we just talk about how awesome
Monica
Jamie
Rial
and Cameron
is?
are?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Jamie and Monica in general are just like the shit. By the way, like they have had a pretty bullshit past couple of months / year,
several
and
months.
yeah, and like I just want to say, like, they are incredible, strong, amazing women, and we hella stan.
We stan and love them to death.
Very much so. Like, we will support them no matter what. Like, yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, talking about Monica's character, Cameron, goes back to what we touched on just a little bit ago. There's a really nice bit of representation on this police force.
Yeah, it's a very diverse, it's like a very diverse precinct. I'm like really happy about that, actually. Which also
like,
kind of like, so, because like they bring up like the Americans and like other countries, and it's like, where the fucking hell are they? Like, are they in the
They're
South?
in California.
Are they off the coast
They're in
of
California.
So they're off the coast of California.
Either they're considered a part of the state of California.
Okay, yeah, because
if you look at some of the cop badges, it says Santa Teresa, California.
Okay, because apparently like San Teresa is on an island.
Yeah, it's an island that's part of California, like how Catalina is also part of California, or how the UP is part of Michigan.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the representation is really nice. There's Cameron, played by Monica, who's a Latinx woman.
Yeah,
Anthony Bowling.
I don't know if she's I think she might be. She's either Latinx or Afro Latinx, but I'm not entirely sure. But
if her last name's any indication, it's Estefan.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like
yeah.
I mean, like Latinx is a very like wide umbrella. It can be like,
yeah,
you know.
That's why I didn't want to. That's why I used that, because I didn't want to accidentally specify the wrong thing.
But I'm just saying. I mean, like, because her skin, like, just the character's skin is pretty dark. So I was thinking like maybe they're also like Afro Latinx.
I can see that.
But anyway, that's not the point. The point is.
And then we have Tony McBee, played by Anthony Bowling, who's openly gay, and he even talks about not wanting to call an ex-boyfriend for help, and his current boyfriend would be mad. Oh yeah, can we like him and Alexander's like relationship is like just like their partnership and their banter is really funny. Where he's like, I'm gonna take a picture for your boyfriend, and he's like, no, don't. Like, it's so cute. It's so funny. Yes. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, yeah. Oh my god. And then like Alexander, who's a Russian immigrant. He's played by Jacob Browning.
Remind me what Jacob Browning was also in, because I don't remember.
Shoot.
Do I have to look it up? I'll just look it up really quick.
I think he was in. Oh! He was in like either Gotteries or First Girlfriend's a Gal. He's been in a couple things.
Okay, I looked it up. Okay, so he's actually done quite a bit. Yeah, he was in My First Girlfriend as a Gal as Kaigo Ishida. He was also in Cheer Boys as Takuya.
And All Out as Suzumu Kitamachi.
I was just about to say he was also in All Out as Susumu Kitamachi. He's done from what I can tell, he's done a bunch of like side characters as well. So yeah, he's been in quite a bit. All right, cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's a collection of representation that you sometimes see in anime, but never in one place, which is refreshing.
Oh, and then Randy E. Aguabor as Kenny,
Aguabor.
the bouncer. He's also known. He was also in Junie Tyson. I think he's the horse.
Yeah, the horse, and he's been in.
Oh, okay.
Other things too.
Speaking of,
he was also Gazal Dwargo in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The Dwarf King.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that for a second. Sweet. But really quick, can we just talk about Kenny really quick? Because there's a scene where Matsuba has to go over to his apartment to find O'Neill and like interrogate him or just get some info out of him. But apparently like some shit went down the night before, and there was
a crazy fucking party at this place. Like,
so O'Neill is like buried under some like very like thick woman. And also, there is a goat.
Who is called... sure what the goat's... He's not sure even what the goat is doing there or who it belongs to. It just sort of showed up.
Like, why the hell is there a goat? And Kenny's like, oh. I guess the prostitute that O'Neill ordered is nicknamed the Virgin Mary.
Yes, the thick woman who Kay basically like just... like kicks awake and then she just loses her shit. I could not stop laughing that entire scene.
I was mostly laughing at the goat because that was my favorite part. Oh, and then like the random snoring guy, like.
Yes, and then there was like just another chick just passed out in the fridge.
And then like, but we also have to talk about Kenny's jammy jams.
And these are my jammy jams. I don't go to bed without them.
But, like, I love how it's just, like, that's just accepted.
Yeah, it's like...
But, I mean, like, also, I don't think you'd want to question Kenny, because he'd probably kill you.
Yeah, just, if Kenny says something, just go with it. I mean, like, who are we to question a man in his jams?
Especially when he's, like, 6 foot... like 90 and like when he's like freaking 7 feet tall and like it's scary
200-300 pounds roughly. This
like
you can
huge.
Tell you can tell he like played football or something because he is just like an all-American beefcake.
Like this dude clearly is a bouncer for a reason.
Bouncer and bodyguard, and I'm guessing extremely good at his job.
And apparently goat enthusiast. I'm just kidding. We don't actually know why the goat's there.
It just is.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of fucking How I Met Your Mother, where like the goat ends up in the apartment on Ted's birthday. But anyway, I'm derailing the conversation.
Yeah, and then Kay just like starts beating up O'Neill, and when he's hungover and he has to go to the hospital. That whole episode is just wild. Episode 8, y'all, is just nuts.
Oh, okay. And meanwhile, all this is happening. Poor Tilarna has body swapped with fucking Kuroi the cat, and like the coroner has Cecil has to like help her out, and like it's just like the weirdest fucking shit happens. Like fucking Tilarna, the cat in Tilarna's
pees
body,
in the litter box.
Yeah, using the litter box, and it's just like of all the things, like,
and she's just wearing she's wearing her pajamas the entire time, which are just like a top and underwear, and that's it. Doesn't leave much to the imagination. And then she's like trying to be cuddly as like Kuroi, and her body is trying to be cuddly, like, and Kay's freaked the hell out.
So I'm gonna read a comment off one of the forums, but it says, I consider myself something. This is from a guy named Steve. I consider myself something of an anime veteran, so it takes quite a bit to catch me off guard. And let me tell you, I mean it when I say that I did not expect my regular summer viewing schedule to be interrupted by a cute anime girl using a cat's litter box in broad daylight, and I especially didn't expect it out of Copcraft. And it's just like a screenshot of Talarna as like Koroi with a horrified expression on her face.
Just mortified that the cat is doing cat things in a human body.
Poor Talarna, but still, even as a
Poor
cat,
Cecil.
She has at least she has the ability to use a cell phone, and then so like Cecil has to like track down the fucking trash guy, and then she tries to be nice about it, and then finally she's just like, yo, buddy, I'm a coroner, I work for the cops, fucking hand it over or you're gonna be charged with like impeding an investigation. And he's like, okay, thanks, yeah, sorry, ma'am.
Yeah,
and I was
they
like,
don't get it
you,
anyway,
girl.
but all's well that ends well.
Yeah, all's well that ends well. I wrote that. Sorry. Fairly Odd Parents.
And then like Talarna starts to got kidnapped at some point, and he is like getting the crap beaten out of her, or Kuroi's getting the crap beaten out of him, and Talarna's body. Yeah, we missed a lot back at the apartment apparently, just because Talarna comes to, some guy's like beating the crap out of her for information. So she just all but kills him, and after realizing she's back in her body, and then just starts thanking God and Farbani, and then that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this show makes like zero sense.
Yeah. Though one of my favorite lines is in the last, I think, episode 9 or 10 or 11, when the quote unquote FBI agents tries to arrest Kay.
That was fucking bullshit. I was like, oh my god, I was so mad. Like, I literally wanted to be like, motherfucker, let's see some identification.
Yeah, but the line when Talarna says, Kay, I figured out who the corpse is. It's all of them. Like when the quote unquote agents were there, like only the main guy was like human, the rest were zombies. I was like, this isn't a horror anime. It's just not. Yet they have lines like this.
I could easily see this as like a 90s buddy cop movie with like, you know, like fucking, I don't know, like Mel Gibson or somebody like playing a cop, or like fucking Mark Wahlberg as a cop, and then like, you know, like Dakota Fanning or something as like a cute fairy girl from another world, and then they get into shenanigans in New York City.
Yeah.
And, you know, complete with like a soundtrack by like Blink-182 or some shit.
Fall Out Boy, just to make it weirder.
Even better.
Can we move on to my favorite part of it now, the language?
Yes. Okay. So, if I had someday, we will have like a professional transition that will be like Matt's language lesson or something.
That implies that there are way more constructed languages in anime than there actually are. There are 3.
But the point is. Anyway, go ahead.
We suck at transitions is what the point is. So I've mentioned this a couple times here and there, but one of the like big draws and interesting aspects of the show is that it has its own language. The Samanian people have their own language that is used that they use throughout the show. The language is called Farbani, and as a linguist by hobby, I studied the crap out of this, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had. I even compiled a dictionary.
So Farbani is a language invented by Shoji Gato, and it shows up a little bit in some of his other works. It shows up a little bit in Full Metal Panic. It definitely shows up in Amagi Brilliant Park, which makes a little bit more sense because there are actually fairies in Amagi Brilliant Park. And like some
real quick, where does it show up in FMP? Because you showed me the little excerpt from the Amagi novel. Where does it show up in FMP?
Oh, I'd have to go dig through the novels.
Okay, no worries.
The point is, some people, I kind of went down the Reddit rabbit hole. Apparently some fans like theorize that Copcraft and Amabri might be in the same universe.
It's possible.
Like some fairies ended up in Japan and like Amabri, or like some of the Somanians ended up in Amabri and then some ended up here.
It would depend on the fairy's ability to learn language, but it is possible. There could easily be more than one dimensional rift.
That's kind of what Amabri is, quote unquote.
Right. I'm just saying.
Maybe we should just do Amabri after this.
I guess. Anyway, the language itself is an eclectic mix of Japanese and Latin roots, with mainly Japanese syllabics and speech patterns. The most notable aspect of the dialect is pauses before prepositional phrases. One example sentence I have here is the translation is "curses of Rubana upon you," and it's "Maru Rubana Darmezan." There's a pause between Rubana and Dharme, which means upon, and Zan, which means you. So that was the most notable aspect of the language I noticed. There was also another sentence I wrote down for an example. These domini quezana liem noi nei Farbana, which is, then why didn't you speak to me in Farbani? But the English equivalent of that speech pattern would be, then why didn't you speak to me in Farbani? So there's a distinct pause before prepositional phrases. And I pulled up the dictionary app for the first time in a while and wrote out a couple sentences that I want to teach you now, just for fun.
Okay, what's the first one?
All right, it's Noi jine zosekei.
Noi jine zosekei?
Zosekei.
Zosekei.
Yeah, Noi jine zosekei.
Noi jine zosekei.
Yes, it means I have many cats.
Which I do not.
All right.
But wait, I wonder what's the Farbani word for dog? Like, I wonder how I would say I have a dog.
That never came up, so I could not tell you. Nose again is beast, and the way they used it could possibly be interchanged with dog, because the line that they used was, you slaughtered them like animals. And the translation says beast, but it could easily be just like idiomatic for, you slaughtered them like animals, like cattle, like dogs, like beasts. So that could be, but it's a little open-ended there. All right, here's a shorter, simpler one. Noi itsen sarama.
Noi itsen sarama?
Yeah. That means I kill people. I chose that one because there's an interesting bit of culture here. Sarama means people. The base of that word is Sara, which means world.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see, since people are the world, and that gets displayed linguistically. And I'm going to teach you how to say isekai in Farbani now. It's Manisara.
Manisara.
Yeah, it literally means other world.
Okay.
All right, I wrote this one for you, since it can be a vague description of a nurse. Zani Sarama Miruna.
Zani Sarama Miruna?
Zanish Sarama Miruna.
Zani Shirama Miruna?
Zanish.
Zanish.
Sarama.
Sarama.
Miruna.
Mirna.
Zanish, Sarama, Miruna.
Zanish, Sarama, Mirna.
Yes. That means you help people who feel weak.
Oh.
If you ever find yourself in the other world and you're lost, but you don't know the.
So basically, if I ever got isekai'd to a world where they speak Farbani, and I could say that, like, wait, no, I'm a nurse.
Or if you just or if you're lost and need directions, a phrase to get someone's attention is Narsuzana Nishnoi.
Narsuzana Nishnoi?
Yes, that means, can you help me?
Ah.
And I wanted to, and as an ode to the first episode, the last sentence I have is Dejine noi defiel.
Dejine noi nefiel?
Dejine noi.
Dejine noi nefiel.
It's defiel.
Defiel.
Yeah. Dejinoi defiel means give me the ferry.
Ah, okay.
And there's just one word I want to bring up since I mentioned some it has a bit of Latin mixed into it, which is mildita, which is Farbani for wizard, and it has the Spanish suffix ita at the end, which is part of how I figured out that part of it was Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
props to the English cast for having to recite this language, because it was not easy.
Yeah, this is the first time that there have been only 3 shows that have had their own distinct language.
Drifters.
Devil's a Part-Timer, Drifters, and then now Copcraft. And what the writers did before that I still commend them on, but I'm just iffy otherwise, is they took, instead of using the language that there already was, they made a new one.
There's one other one, actually. Gargantua the Virtuous Planet. Which I don't think you've seen.
Really? I have to watch that then. I haven't.
It's pretty good.
I feel like you've mentioned it.
I feel like it should still be on Netflix. I think it was an Aniplex title. But
I'll look at it.
It is dubbed. Matt Mercer voices the robot, or the mecha.
I know what show you're talking about now. I haven't seen it yet. Excuse me.
I think it's like one of those things where I'm trying not to spoil it, but basically there's a language barrier in the show to a degree.
I'll watch it and have fun.
It's actually a good little show. I wasn't mad at it.
What they did with Drifters and The Devil's a Part-Timer is instead of just having the actors say the lines over again, they completely they invented their own language, and there's special features for both about how they did that. I highly recommend watching them. They're really really interesting. Jamie Markey created the language for The Devil's a Part-Timer.
Ente Isla.
Ente Islan, or Entian is the proper name.
Or mouse speak, which there actually is a generator online that you can plug it into.
I don't think it's there anymore, because I tried looking it up a while ago and it wasn't there, unless it moved domains. Maybe moved domains, but
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, they created their original language as a sort of just better means to have a command over the words, because in order to fully understand the language, I watched it both Copcraft. I watched it both subbed and dubbed, and there are parts in the dub where I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying it, I'm just confused, that where they weren't able to fit the flaps of the original line, so they had to take out a word or two. Like there was a part where they had to take out domine in one of the lines, which since they left it in the subtitle so you can understand, but at the same time, if anyone was watching without subtitles and knew the language, which is just me pretty much, they would be like, "What? Why'd they take that out?" Anyway, I'm sure there was a good reason. I'm just pointing that out.
I don't think anyone else will notice.
Yeah, I know. I'm the only guy who did. Anyway, yeah, this was the first anime where they kept it completely untouched, which was which was really interesting. I forget exactly how the language, the original language in Drifters worked. It is really all over the place, so I never really got a chance to fully screw that down. But yeah, the language in the original language in The Devil's a Part-Timer is it's a partial Caesar shift cipher where they leave out, where they move the letters 26 degrees, but the vowels A, E, I, O, U, as well as L, N, and Q stay in place, and then the letters just get substituted around them. So, which is interesting because words like queen would stay the same in both Entei Eastland and English.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that show.
Yeah, it's been a while too for me.
Let's see. Yeah, overall, like this is a it's not a bad show. I was not mad at it. I mean, like, yes, there are like structural problems, but to me, like, this is a show you just watch to like just sit back, relax, and have fun with. I don't think it's really meant to. I mean, just don't. The mistake that I made was trying to take it seriously and expect to have any sort of like semblance of structure.
Yeah, I sort of just like as it aired, I didn't really know what to expect, especially since once I looked it up, I realized that the anime is the show's only representation in the West. The light novels haven't been licensed here.
There's like zero information about it on the interwebs, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it was a little irritating when I was doing my Farbani research just to see what else was out there. But yeah, this is the franchise's only representation in the West.
Yeah.
So yeah, show it love if you want the light novels, because I want to check my work.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that has
just
been,
sort of rolled with it.
That's been Copcraft.
I just rolled with it week to week.
All the episodes are currently on Funimation, if you are curious about checking them out. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, we are working on a big episode. Basically, we're
Which I have in my.
Yeah, like we're currently working on
head.
a big.
I just need to actually put it down on paper.
Yeah, like we are both currently working on a big isekai episode, which will air at some point. It's going to take a lot of research from both of us. So I'm not sure what we're going to do in the meantime, but we'll figure it out. Actually, if y'all have any suggestions or requests of shows you want us to cover, like, feel free to hit us up. dubterfuge@gmail.com. If you want to communicate in more than 140 characters, or 280 or whatever it is on Twitter now.
We're going to be like doing like the whole spectrum of isekai, from good popular to good not popular, to popular trash to not popular trash. Just the whole gamut. So nothing's off the table at this point.
We are gonna be like I'm gonna be so burnt out by the end of that episode.
Yeah.
The things you do
We're gonna have to divvy up the trash shows among ourselves.
The things you do.
Maybe even get a friend in here just to like lighten the load.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The things I do for my best friends. No, actually, come October. Oh, I've got some plans. Do I?
I already think you mentioned these, so that'll be.
Actually, nothing. It's nothing bad. I'm just basically Matt's getting. Basically, I'm watching shows that Matt has a special place in his heart for, and vice versa.
Yeah, and our tastes are completely different, so we're both going out of our usual comfort zones.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'm not gonna submit. Basically, I'm just getting him to watch all the. Probably just gonna make him watch all the artsy shows that nobody else cares about but me.
Get my ass some culture.
Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do in the meantime. But yeah, like I said, if you have any suggestions, any requests, maybe we'll start a poll going. Who knows? Dubterfuge on Twitter or dubterfuge@gmail.com. You can also find us individually on Twitter. I am at Lunatic, which is capital L, 3 O's, NAHTIC.
I'm at Matthew H. Voss. Basic standard spelling.
And
go watch Copcraft. It's a fun show. I recommend watching the dub with subtitles because that way you can actually see how the Farbani is structured, which makes it a little more interesting.
Funimation actually does it automatically.
Not all of it. There's some inconsistencies throughout the episodes. I noticed when I was going back, especially when I was researching it. But yeah, they do for some parts, not for others. I'm guessing it's going to be completely covered, fixed, done all the way.
I was going to say because
when
I was watching it, it seemed to cover pretty much everything. So who knows? Maybe they fixed it by now.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fixed on the Blu-ray. That's not a complaint. That's just an observation.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I mean, again, I didn't research it as extensively as you did, but I didn't notice anything. It still gave a translation of all the Farbani as far as I was concerned.
Yeah,
when I was watching it.
But there are bits here and there where it doesn't, but I'm sure they will. Is all I'm saying. I
mean, I'm just saying every time they spoke it, I saw a translation. So, anyhoozles. Right. So yeah, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for letting Matt geek out for an hour and a half.
I so rarely get to do it for this long. It's a treat.
I think the last time you got to was your World End episode.
Yeah.
Maybe next episode I'll get to geek out a little bit, but who knows?
You're due for a geek out. I owe you at least 2 geek outs now.
Oh, okay. So in that case, okay, this is gonna be fun. Okay. So yeah, that's our show. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see y'all next time.
Laters.
Dubterfuge is produced and distributed by Shui Media. The show is created and is hosted by Stella Luna and Matt Voss. The show is edited and mixed by Tim Philippi. The show's theme song is Giraffes by Harrison Amer. If you'd like to help people find the show, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating in iTunes. Believe it or not, it goes a long way in helping the show get seen and heard. You can also reach out to Luna and Matt with any questions or comments on Twitter and Facebook at Dubterfuge or at dubterfuge@gmail.com. For more information, visit dubterfuge.com and shuimedia.com.